Hey guys, yes, I am back. I know it's been a couple months. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Virginia governor's race. With just a couple months out, it seems like the GOP has already given up on this race and pivoting their focus to other statewide races. So, should they actually be concerned, or is there actually a legitimate chance that this race could be competitive and the Republican candidate, Winsome Earl Sears, can pull off an upset? Let's go ahead and take a deeper analysis into this. But before we do, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. And without further ado, let's just get right into the analysis. Already, Abigail Spanberger has outraised more money to Winsome Earl Sears by a 2-1 margin. This is a significant event. In total, Spanberger raised $27 million to Sears's $12 million. They raised over double the amount in just a couple of months. This has left a lot of Republicans panicking over the GOP governor's race due to that funding and Winsome Earl Sears, in their eyes, not being as strong of a candidate as Glenn Youngkin was. Also, another big reason why the GOP has abandoned this race is because of the poll numbers. They have not been great for Winsome Earl Sears in a generally competitive state. Currently, Abigail Spanberger has a 7.5 point lead over her, including the most recent poll taken by VCU has her up by 12. Notably, with the RCP average around this time, Terry McAuliffe was leading by 7 points against Glenn Youngkin, which ironically is about the same margin that Winsome Sears is down by in Virginia. Factored in also that Joe Biden won the state by 10 points, while Harris only won it by 5.5. However, it is worth mentioning that the circumstances in 2021 were very different how they are now. First off, this was also during the pandemic where Joe Biden had a very, very low approval rating. Also, around the country, but including Virginia, education was a big issue, and that parents wanted to send their kids to school instead of virtual online classes, which his opponent, Terry McAuliffe, was in favor of, and that was deeply unpopular among Virginians. Notably, education was the second biggest issue in Virginia, and Glenn Youngkin won it by 6 points. And the economy and jobs, Glenn Youngkin won by 11. The only edge where Terry McAuliffe had advantage was in coronavirus, which he won by a very large margin. So all those factors point to a strong performance for a Republican candidate. However, with factors now, and with the federal workforce, notably who lives in Washington, D.C. and the D.C. suburbs around here, the hiring of tens of thousands of federal workers in the DMV could play a very big role in this. Now let's go into the state breakdown and what Republicans actually need to do to win the state. So if we kind of look at the dynamics of the state, you got the northern D.C. area. This place is fast growing. There's over 3.5 million people here. So it's a very big place. And this place, the Richmond suburbs, have been growing, and they get big, and they have been getting a lot more bluer, especially the areas in Northern Virginia. With Glenn Youngkin winning the Virginia governor's race by 2 points, he did get blown out in a place like Fairfax County. He did lose it by 30 points, right? However, in 2020, a year before that, Donald Trump lost the same place by 42 points. There's a big difference between 30 and 42 points. Very similar. In a place like Loudoun County, Trump lost here by 25 points, right? If we go to the Virginia governor's race, McAuliffe does win here, but the margin is only 11 points. Again, difference in that. Also, this is one, Chesterfield County, this suburb outside of Richmond. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Richmond. This county has been trending towards the Democrats. Terry McAuliffe actually won here. He won here by almost 4.5 points. Ironically, however, this is one of the few counties where Kamala Harris actually improved her margin over Donald Trump. Not by much, but she did improve. It's a key reason why Virginia stayed blue is the areas in Chesterfield and Virginia Beach didn't change that much. So, Sears is going to have to replicate Glenn Youngkin's performance in the suburbs. She doesn't need to win any of these counties. She just needs to make improvements. And Trump did do that. Obviously not enough to win, but he did make improvements. But I think the biggest question mark is if you kind of look at the western part of Virginia, kind of from Fairfax down to Richmond, you kind of see the sea of red counties. These are small rural counties, and this is Trump surge country. This is Appalachia, Shenandoah valleys, and a lot of these counties were still Republican 15 to 20 years ago. They were voting for them on average about 20 points, right? Now, in this election, Donald Trump won all these counties that I'm highlighting, by 48 points. Now, coming in, obviously, everybody knew Glenn Youngkin would win all these counties, right? All these solid red counties. The question is how much. People expected him to slip 3-4 points, but actually improved here, and that's another big reason why he won. So, the suburbs with the rural surge, that's the formula that he used, and that's the formula, quite frankly, that Sears needs to use. He has a shot. Do I think the GOP should give up on the governor's race? Absolutely not. Virginia is still a competitive state despite its Democratic turn. We saw Glenn Youngkin trailing by 7 points, basically just the amount that Sears was. And he went from 7 points to actually winning the race by 2. However, it is definitely going to be an uphill battle by that, and given the terms of the economy and the federal workforce in Northern Virginia. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Should the GOP truly give up on this Virginia governor's race, or do they still have a shot and they should focus more on it instead of going to other races like they have been? Let me know in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.